Get ready with me for my oncology rotation while I de-influence you med school edition. And I know I'm a little bit late to the trend, but like, bear with me. This first one is a little controversial, but I really don't think Anki is the best way to be studying in med school. And I know that like, I'll probably have 100 med influencers coming at me for that, but I just don't think it's a great way to get a good understanding of all the concepts. I think it's great for rote learning and just memorizing content, like you might have to do for anatomy. But I think a lot of the concepts that we have to learn in med school, they require a lot of joining with previous concepts that you've already learned. So in my head, it kind of looks like a bit of a mind map where I'm connecting things that I learned before and adding on different layers of information, like linking pathophysiology to like the presentation of a patient. But I feel like with Anki, you kind of get really disjointed facts coming in together. So I just don't think it's the best way to prepare you for exam questions, which ask you for the application of, you know, a bunch of different concepts put all together. So yeah, not really what I recommend. I think it's best to make some sort of a mind map for different topics that you're learning, and then using a question bank like PassMed or something like that to actually apply your content, or trying to find like past paper questions and applying content in that way. So if you're feeling like Anki isn't really working for you, then rest assured that you're not the only one, and I hope I find my people. Secondly, you don't need an expensive stethoscope. Like, you definitely don't need a Littman cardiology getting started in med school. I was definitely someone who was really excited to buy my first stethoscope, and I just wanted the shiniest, coolest thing. And I did splurge on a Littman cardiology stethoscope, but I've had it for 4 years now, and I still can't really hear a difference. I can barely hear what the doctor's asking me to hear, let alone being able to tell the difference between a Littman cardiology or a classic. So take that advice from me as someone who did spend that money and kind of regrets spending that money. That's definitely not something you need in your first year of medical school. Yeah, you know, maybe if you fall in love with cardiology, you can always upgrade. But yeah, a lot of doctors will give you the same advice. It's not really worth spending like $200, $300 on a stethoscope when you're barely going to use it or barely know how to use it for a long time. The last point I have is about textbooks, and when you start med school, your uni will definitely recommend a bunch of different textbooks for different subjects as helpful additional resources. And while they may be helpful for some people, I was just never a textbooks girly, and I think a lot of people don't really like the idea of carrying around a textbook, which I agree with. Not to mention they're so expensive, and the information in them is pretty readily available online, whether it's through alternative textbooks or YouTube videos. So I really don't see the point in spending all that money and lugging around like an extra 3 kilos for like no reason. And anyways, in true get ready with me fashion, I'm running really late. So let me know if you guys want me to do more of these.